Happy to see all of you here. Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna. Om
Hare Krishna.
Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Kauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jayasi Krishna Chaitanya Prabho Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Yeah, this is the shloka that we ended with. We didn't have so much time to spend on this, but Mayadhyakshena Prakriti Suyate Sacharacharam Hetunanena Kaunteya Jagat Viparivartate. Krishna is describing that he is a superintendent of the material nature. And if you read the purport, there is a very beautiful extract of explaining how the relationship with Krishna and his material energy is, which is most important for us to know. Therefore, I'm reiterating it here, the 10th shloka. You must understand these relationships very well. Krishna and material nature, Krishna and you and material nature. These three relationships, if you understand correctly, without any mistake, you understand the entire Vedic literature. So, Prabhupada speaks a lot of things under this purport. Krishna is saying, Maya Adhyakshena Prakriti. Adhyaksha, I am the superintendent person. Under my direction, it's functioning. Right? Under its rule, many things are going on. It means I know everything that's going on, although I am not directly involved there in all the details. I know everything that's going on from time to time. I'm fully conscious of everything. But I don't have to be there to do the small nitty-gritty. My material energy does it. It's very amazing. And Prabhupada gave a very beautiful example there. He says, this is from the purport. Maybe somebody should read that. Priya, you want to read that? On the screen.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Maharaj. When there is a fragrant flower before someone, the fragrance is touched by the smelling power of the person. Yet the smelling and the flower are detached from one another. There is a similar connection between the material world and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Actually, he has nothing to do with this material world, but he creates by his glance and ordains.
Thank you. Although he is in charge and he can at any time do anything, he lets it go according to the rules and regulations and the karma of the living entities, what they need to get. There's a whole system in place and it just operates. A system in place, it operates. Like today you talk about automation a lot. Some of you who are into that, you know that you can automate things. You don't have to repetitively do the same tasks. You have IoT, Internet of Things. You can run your whole house from your, workplace. You can feed your dog from there. Somewhere in Zambia, she can feed the dog in Kerala in this thing without even coming there. I can see the dog getting its food. I don't have to go there, be there, and actually do it. Even amongst human beings, these type of things, facilities are available now. automation. Regular, repetitive tasks, I get it automated and it's done. I don't have to be there to do it. So for Krishna, maintenance, creation, annihilation is a regular process. Like we saw in the 8th chapter, for Brahma, it's like happening 1,000 times a day, Satya Treta Dwapara Kali. Isn't it? 1,000 times a day, he's creating, destroying, then he goes to sleep. And somebody would be wondering, can I help Brahma automate everything? Why these suffer so much? Similarly, Krishna is also smart enough. He outsources it to demigods, to the material energy, the system, and everything together. A very compact system. And it functions. People's material desires are all met by that system. Unless somebody inside that is raising his hands and asking for something more than just material life. Like Krishna is saying here, if you surrender to me, manmana bhava mad bhaktaha, madhyaji mam naruskuru, in the last shloka here he will say, then I will step inside. I will step inside and personally deal with you and handle you. Otherwise, it's a regular run-of-the-mill. My material energies and powers and the systems, and they go and give the application to the right guy and you'll get what you want and your karma will be taken into consideration. You will get your dues, get what you deserve. That system goes through. So Krishna is saying, although that is happening, I know everything that's happening. Why? Why? How does Krishna know everything that's happening everywhere, in everybody, and around? How does he know? Just a quiz for all of you.
Super soul. He is a super soul.
Exactly. He is super soul in everybody's heart. So how they are interacting with matter and what's happening inside them, everything is known to him. It's not that only some big computer that Zuckerberg has got all the information of everybody through Google or something. Krishna is the grand tata and granddad of Zuckerberg. There are billions of Zuckerbergs he handles. He has all the data of all the Zuckerbergs and all the planets together. There are many such Zuckerbergs everywhere. He has all their data also. If he pulls off the button, all the Zuckerbergs will fall down. Right? So imagine what data Krishna has got. I call it the real big data. Those of you who are into some software, you know the meaning of the word big data means many things, at least some time back. Now it's been replaced by something else maybe. So he is a real controller, sophisticated controller. He doesn't have to mess around with all the matter and all that stuff. It's mentioned here by his glance. He just creates. That we heard in the 7th and 8th chapters we heard. Mama yonir mahat brahma, tasmin garbham dadamyaham. I simply impregnate material nature with living entities by my glance. Saikshata, by just looking. Boom, all the living entities come inside matter. And they are born with various different types of bodies. And they go through that cycle. You must understand what a huge, humongous arrangement it is. You can't even appreciate it even a little bit because our brains are real small. It's a very huge arrangement, massive arrangement, systems and everything in place. So Krishna is in charge. And this example here says, he's like you hold a flower. You know, when you smell a flower, you don't have to touch the flower with your nose. You keep it a little distance. And the fragrance, you just take in the fragrance. You don't have to shove it inside your nostrils for you to smell it, isn't it? You just keep it a little aside and take a whiff and you smell it. Similarly, Prabhupada is saying, I don't have to touch, Krishna is saying, I don't have to touch material nature. Just by being near it and under my superintendence, I know what's going on fully. That's the powerful position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But what do people do in this world? You see in the 11th shloka, how does the chapter start at today's this thing? Avajananti ma mudha manushim tanum ashritam param bhavam ajananto mama bhuto maheshwaram. But Krishna is talking this. This is very interesting. Although he's so great, he's saying something interesting here. He's stooping down and passing a judgment on certain types of people. Because you should know about it. In this chapter, he speaks about 4 different types of people and he condemns them and directly condemns them. That's what is interesting. Right? Krishna's doctor, please read the translation.
Krishna Maharaj, Pranams Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Dr.
Fools,
Gati.
fools deride me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature as the supreme Lord of all that be. Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yeah, thank you. Fools, he calls them mudha. Mudha means fool. He's using a very strong terminology, but very sophisticated and cultured. He doesn't use other 4-letter expletives that in the common world people use today. In a very sophisticated way, he's saying lousy things about the people of this world. Manushim tanum ashritam. Ashrita means to have accepted. They think that I have accepted a human form. Param bhavam ajananto. My great nature they don't know. My transcendental nature they don't know. And my supreme dominion over all that may be. But they think I'm an ordinary human being. Why? Because I look like one. I've just accepted that human form to melt into human society and be accepted by everybody. So that people will relate with me. If I came with a 4-handed form with my Shankha Chakra Gada Padma and my chakra swirling in within my fingers, I'll be a deadly scene. Everybody will run away from me. But I come in the human form and mix with people. But then I also show my greatness to them. I lift the Govardhana hill. I do amazing things. And people who are blessed with some mercy and intelligence can understand who I am. But the rest of them, most of them, they don't understand me. Right? Very important to know for you. So if you look at it, this all we did all this. So if you look at it, Prabhupada gives a very elaborate purport to this. It's a very interesting, important shloka purport that you must read. He speaks about Ishvara. What does Ishvara really mean? A controller. How there are various types of controllers and how is the chief controller of the controllers. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachitananda Vigraha. Anadiradir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam. The cause of all causes. The beginning of everything, but one who has no beginning. Anadi. He has no beginning, but he is the beginning of everything else. Anadir Adir Govinda. Sarvakarana Karanam, the cause of all causes. This is the definition given in the prayer of Lord Brahma during creation. Gives a very beautiful verse and explains who Krishna is. So in this, you will see that foolish people think that Krishna is a human being. So it's a very strange thing that many times people describe Krishna as a great hero and not God. And you would have seen this. And so many popular so-called speakers also talk this way. Everybody is interested in giving their opinion of who Krishna is. But they don't know that who the hell cares about your opinion when it comes to the truth. Right? When it comes to the truth, there is only one opinion. And that Krishna says here, this is my opinion. Many times he says. So does your opinion matter or the opinion of the absolute truth, the reality matters? Any intelligent person will know if he reads the Bhagavad Gita and carefully follows these instructions. My opinion really doesn't matter. Because whatever my opinion is, the truth will remain as it is. Like I always tell you the truth about the rising of the sun on the east. It's like a truth. You never, it's almost like an absolute truth. You have never heard of anybody saying that the rise of the sun will occur in any other direction. So if anybody comes forward and says, my feeling is that the sun tomorrow will rise in the west because now you don't see the sun, you will definitely shoo him off and say, idiot, I don't believe you one bit. Because it's been happening through the ages, and my grandfather and my grandfather's grandfather and tribes and dynasties before all have spoken about the sun rising in the east. How can I ever think that you could be correct? So if you read the Bhagavad Gita, you will feel the same way like the rising of the sun in the east about what Krishna is saying. There is no chance that you could think of Krishna in any other way if you're an intelligent person and has understood these instructions. So this purport is a very beautiful purport. Unfortunately, we don't have so much time to read through it. But I would say that here Prabhupada is speaking about the transcendental nature of Krishna's body. Manushim tanum ashritam. Although Manushya tanum, tanu means body, he is accepted. He's saying that it is not like your body and my body, which is material. It really looks like mine and yours, but its composition is Satchitananda Vigraha. Eternity, knowledge, and bliss. It's not material at all. Then Prabhupada goes further to state that he is entering in his not in the material energy. He is entering into the material energy in his spiritual energy, in his internal energy. So when Krishna comes, he comes in his internal spiritual energy. He is not part of the material energy that we are in. Like I've often given you an example that Prabhupada has given. In the prison house, the collector comes during Independence Day or Republic Day. And if you see him inside the prison house with the prisoners, you should not think that he is also a prisoner. Why? He is free man. Even while he is inside the prison house, he is a free man. He has his attendant next to him. He addresses the prisoners and goes from one jail to the other. He spends time in 3-4 jails around, the districts. He goes freely in and out of the jail. He is not subjected to the rules and regulations of the jail. Similarly, Krishna can come in and out of the material cosmos because he is not operating under the rules and regulations of matter, material nature. He is himself the superintendent of the material nature, but he, out of his mercy to be shown to us, he comes inside the prison house to tell us and give us these instructions of Bhagavad Gita so that he can teach us how to escape from this prison house and be liberated. That's why Prabhupada is going ahead and fulfilling it by giving you so many extracts from the Vedic literature, how you can understand Krishna's supremacy. Everywhere in the Vedas is mentioned. So he has picked up Brahma Samhita, Gopala Tapani Upanishad, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and so many other. I have seen in the Bhagavad, there are so many references. Numerous multitude of references speaking about Krishna as a supreme personality of Godhead, beyond this material nature, completely independent of anything. Right? God means, you must understand, this is the meaning of God. There is only one God. And he is Krishna. If you don't want to call him Krishna, you can call him anything else, doesn't matter. But Vedic literature gives very extensive description about this person, who is the supreme absolute truth. And some of these shlokas are referred to here. I've just listed it out, extracted them and listed it out for you from that purport to make it easy. So here Prabhupada is saying also that in this 9.11 shloka, one very important point, the culture of respect. Human society today, who can read that? Urjeshwari Madhavi, can't read your full.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yeah, read the translation.
Okay. A devotee should see that because Krishna is present in everyone's heart as Paramatma, everybody is the embodiment or the temple of the Supreme Lord. So, as one offers respect to the temple of the Lord, he should similarly properly respect each and everybody in which the Paramatma dwells. Everyone should therefore be given proper respect and should not be neglected. Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Thank you.
Okay.
I call this the culture of respect. I do a seminar on culture of respect. And the foundation in that is this particular utterance of Prabhupada. If you're able to see Krishna in everybody, you will automatically respect them. You will not respect them on the basis of their body, their material situation, their economic position, the caste or creed or background that they come from. All that is immaterial. Everybody, Prabhupada says, deserves respect. Why? Because they're spirit souls. They are part and parcel of Krishna. Mamaivamsa jivaloke jivabhuta sanatana. And who is Krishna is described here. So if they are part and parcel of Krishna, should they all not be respected? Even a mosquito should be respected, a gnat should be respected. Why? A spirit soul. And along with the spirit soul in that tiny body is a super soul. So, great saints will not even touch an ant. You know the story of that famous hunter, Mrigari, Narada Muni. He became a disciple of Narada Muni. He was a deadly hunter. And with the association of Narada Muni and the chanting of the holy name, it turned out to be a person who will not even step over an ant. He will put his chadar down and remove the ants on that and keep them aside and then walk. He transformed himself so much because he sees in the ant the super soul. How he is guiding that ant to move around. Because he is so conscious of the Lord. He sees the Lord everywhere. Sarva bhutani yenekam bhavam. In everybody he sees Krishna. Who remembers that shloka that we chanted in the 5th chapter? That a dog, a chandala, an elephant, he sees equally. Because he is a learned man. Who remembers that shloka? Pandita Samadarshina. Nobody? Look it up in the 5th chapter. Keep the Bhagavad Gita in front of you. Look it up in the 5th chapter. I think I'm spoon feeding you too much. You should do some exercise. You should do some thinking also. What does it say in the 5th chapter? Shuni chaiva swapakecha pandita samadarshina. I'll give you one more line.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, so 5.18 Maharaj.
So say that. What does it say?
Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane
Gavi Hastini. Yeah. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavi Hastini Shuni Chaiva Swapakecha Pandita Samadarshina. Read the translation, Sujita.
The humble sages, by virtue of true knowledge, see the equal vision, a learned and gentle Brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog eater, outcast.
So, thank you. So, he sees everybody equally, irrespective of their material situations. This is because he respects. This is the way you can only respect genuinely if you see everybody in connection with Krishna, in connection with God. Your respect for people will increase more and more the more Krishna conscious you become. It's a very amazing statement that Prabhupada is making here. In human society, people don't respect each other properly at all. Why? They become highly materialistic. I've seen parents coming to me and complaining about their children. He called me so and so. Yesterday, one elderly lady came to me and said, my son broke my phone in front of me out of anger. And he 3 times banged it on the floor and broke it. And then immediately he buys a new phone and gives me and asks me, I'm sorry. He spent 11,000, 12,000 rupees and bought me a new phone. What can I do with him? I've seen other people coming and saying that this is real life. My son told me that he called me, you son of a so-and-so, so-and-so. If you don't get away from my life, I'll physically give you one. Can you imagine? The father came and told me, he said this to me and he started crying. And I said, I'll never interfere in your life. Whatever you need from me, your mother, I'll communicate with and she will look after you. Don't worry. And he said, I'm not talking to my son. I helped him so much in life. I did so much. And what did I do that I deserve so much disrespect? He just hates me. For what? I don't know. So I keep hearing these complaints, disrespect in human society. It's because we are not God conscious. It's directly linked to that. Sometimes people are very diplomatically disrespectful. They smile very nicely so that you don't think bad, but intentionally in their heart, they say, to hell with you. A cat who hoots for you. They put their parents in some distant orphanage somewhere and they say, Mama, happy birthday to you over the phone. And when the mama starts talking a little bit, I'm a little, I have to go now. I've got an appointment and all that. Completely disrespectful. Totally rejected them as some, dumped them somewhere. So this type of an attitude of disrespect, it shows very low culture. That is because you're going further and further away from God consciousness. Very dangerous society. Very dangerous society. In a culture of respect, everybody lives together in a community and they highly respect their elders, their teachers, and there is such a dynamic, wonderful, culturally based milieu and atmosphere. It's very rich. It's rich with maturity, rich with realizations of God, rich with a different type of an ambience. It's fully educational. In that type of an ambience, you can learn so many wonderful things. You should learn to respect your teachers. You should learn to respect your elders. You should learn to respect your parents. Not because you are my parent, I should respect you. Because they facilitate your God consciousness. They facilitate your understanding of the absolute truth. They care for you. Because you cared for me, I am able to understand Bhagavad Gita today. Because you cared for me, I am able to be situated in the absolute truth. I met the purpose of life. I lead a meaningful life. You see Prabhupada acknowledging his father right in the first page, a page dedicated to it. To my father, Gaur Mohan De. You'll see, you go to the first page, he says to Baladeva Vidya Bhushna, present at the Govindi Bhasha commentary on Vedanta philosophy. Then you will see he's saying to my father, Gaur Mohan De. I'm not able to locate it, but he will respect his father. And he will say, it is my father who encouraged me to do the right thing and become a servant of Krishna. He was very keen. Prabhupada said that my father, he didn't want me to go to London and become a barrister, a lawyer. There was a proposal and there was everything ready for him. And my father stopped it. He said, no. I want my son to be a nice servant of Radharani, a nice servant of Krishna. And Prabhupada says it very proudly. In this way, I've been saved by my father and directed in the right path. My father, from the young age, he taught me how to worship Radha and Krishna, how to have Ratha Yatra in the house. I'm 5 years old. I asked I want to do Ratha Yatra at home. And he said, yes, let's buy a Rath for you. And he made a small ratham, put Lord Jagannath, Balaram, Subhadra inside for him. And Prabhupada had 8 days festival in the house. He would ask everybody in the neighborhood and relatives, everybody must come. And they would all used to gather and do kirtan. And he would ask them to pull the chariot around. And then for 8 days, there'll be katha. He'll invite different speakers to speak on Lord Jagannath and Krishna. And everybody will get a feast. And he will demand his father, you must do this. When he was so young, he was doing that. When he was so young, he was doing that. And therefore, he liked his father very much. He said, I've been saved by my father. Very respectful to his father. Why? Because you gave me Krishna consciousness. So all your children, they may not appreciate it now, but over a period of time, they'll really appreciate it. And they'll be so happy you did that to them.
It's 9 o'clock.
In spite of the fact that the world was swimming in something else, that you made a difference in my life. Right? So Prabhupada actually in his younger days joined the Gandhi's movement also. His father never said anything to him because he had already put the foundation and fundamental things inside him. And you will see that he joined the Gandhi movement, but he was not happy about Mahatma Gandhi. As soon as he met Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, his guru, his whole impression changed. Right? So we will come to that because that is a shloka here and we will discuss that. So also Prabhupada in this 11th shloka is speaking about the foolishness of atheists by a very powerful logic that he uses. And then interesting logic. Sundar, would you like to read this, Sundar?
Yes, Maharaj. Foolishness of atheists. If a soul surrendered to Krishna can get out of the influence of material energy, then how can the Supreme Lord, who conducts the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of the whole cosmic nature, have a material body like us? So this conception of Krishna is complete foolishness, Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yeah, thank you, Sundar. So you understand the logic here that Prabhupada is saying. So powerful is Krishna that everything is under him. And how can he have a material body? How can he be like us? So there are lots of big scholars who talk in this way and try to become famous. The whole thing is to speak something different from the normal. To be a non-conformist is a fashionable thing. You know what I mean? To be a non-conformist. Don't show that I am not the regular fellow, I am different. Bhagavad Gita says this, no, I am different, I don't believe this. So that you become noticed by everybody. Oh, really? You are wonderful. You are able to go against this. You are able to be a non-conformist in society. And you're very bold. I like that. So the question is not about just being non-conforming. The question about what is the truth that you should know. Simply being non-conformist doesn't mean you got the truth. It's just fashionable. It can become popular, but you don't have the truth with you. Okay? So Prabhupada is giving a nice logic here. So here is a person whom you all know very well, right? Who is he? Who is he?
Mahatma Gandhi Maharaj.
Oh. Okay. Anybody else?
Father of the nation.
Okay. Anybody else?
Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi Maharaj.
Aha. Interesting, interesting. Anybody else?
A soul, maybe?
Well, that of course is. Ah, interesting. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. But his name is Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. That sounds more like it, right? Why is he called Mahatma Gandhi? Why is he called Mahatma Gandhi? Anybody wants to just touch upon it?
I think it is similar to Mahajanas we have in spirituality.
Okay. Mahajano yena gatasa pantha. That's in the Bhagavat. I'm sorry, it's in the Mahabharata. Tarko apratishta vibhinashutayo nasa vrishir yasya matam na bhinnam dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhayam mahajano yena gatasa pantaha. Mahajano, great personalities, right? We must follow in their footsteps. Okay? But you will see now many people talking about how Mahatma Gandhi did not really do what he's supposed to do. And there's a lot of good logic also they bring in. And some people don't like it. They say he's the father of the nation, he's that, he is this, how dare you talk like this? But then people have some solid evidence of this and that and policies and etc., etc. And sometimes we get stuck in that. But the term Mahatma is used by Krishna here, and he defines it in the 9.13th shloka. Right? Mahatmanastumam partha daivim prakritima shritaha bhajanti ananya manaso nyatva bhutadimavyayam. So, what do you think about that? Would you like to read the translation? Mahalila, can you read this translation?
O son of Pritha, those who are not deluded, the great souls are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible.
Okay, thank you. So read this translation very carefully. And on the basis of Bhagavad Gita, I'm going to ask you to discuss Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. And I'm going to give you 5 minutes to do it. Welcome back. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. So,
Hare Krishna.
Let's hear from some of you. Who volunteers to say what you discussed in your group and what conclusion you came to? Just half a minute.
I can tell, Hare Maharaj.
Who is that?
Sundar.
Sundar, go ahead.
So what we were discussing is, for example, we had a very powerful British army, and our Mahatma Gandhiji was not afraid of that powerful army, and he was able to pull the entire country, thinking that God is there behind me, so I can take the country, and he was able to get us freedom. This was one of the overarching thing we discussed.
Therefore, you want to give him the title Mahatma?
Yes. Because he was believing that God is there to help him.
Is that mentioned somewhere?
It is there in this purport.
Yes. Read it out.
Being marginal potency, as soon as the living entity is freed from the control of material nature, he is put under the guidance of spiritual nature. The guidance of the spiritual nature is called Devi Prakriti, divine nature. So when one is promoted in that way, by surrendering to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one attains to the stage of great soul, Mahatma.
Okay. So therefore, you want to give him that title. Fine.
Yes,
Thank
Maharaj.
you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Nice observation and logic. Does anybody else have anything to say from your group discussion?
Yes, Maharaj. Actually, one who surrenders to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then he attains the stage of great soul. That is Mahatma. We can't give directly to a person who is in material world as Mahatma and that. The one who surrendered to Krishna only, they can become Mahatma. Surrender.
So what is your conclusion? Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi?
No, Prabhu, no, Maharaj, I won't tell he is Mahatma.
Wow.
Because of him, the country is separated also, and people suffered a lot during that time. Muslim, Hindu, like that and all. I have read that books and all, Maharaj. So I won't think. Because of him only, Nehru and Mahatma Gandhi did that, and a lot of people suffered like anything. And why we have to call him as Mahatma? I am against for that. If I don't know.
So what is the definition that Krishna is saying there? You said it, actually. You said
Yeah.
it.
Actually,
But-
they have to surrender to Krishna. Then only they will become Mahatma.
Okay. If you get the country
Their
freedom,
soul has to be surrendered.
if you get the country freedom from the Britishers, you cannot be Mahatma?
Okay, in that way, I accept Maharaj, but so many people suffered at that time, no?
Yes. Okay, thank you.
How
Thank
we
you.
can
It's
tell
interesting.
that,
Very, very,
Mahatma-
yeah, very good observation based on Bhagavad Gita. Thank you. Anybody else would like to speak what you want to met in the group?
Yeah, so we had an interesting discussion in our group, and there was a starting point was, is he supposed to be called Mahatma or not? And why was that even given to him? And probably the concept of non-violence began from him. And if you have that vision of non-violence, I think there's a certain amount of respect that you're giving to the other individual, be it British or Muslim or Christian or anything. And that's something that one of our teammates brought in as well, Shalini. And I think that was probably the reason where he went above and beyond religion, or and I think that to come up with that concept of non-violence at a time where we were oppressed, and probably anger was the one thing that was common for everybody. To overcome that, he sought a way out, which many people did not agree to, but that caught momentum, and it gained freedom for us. So probably that's one of the reasons for giving him that title. It was something unusual or unheard of, and nobody would have believed that it would be possible in that way. So yes, I mean, I agree with the other Mataji who said that there is another side of Jinnah's thing and all that, Nehru and creating Pakistan and all that. But I think the whole concept of non-violence is also a form of respect in a way to individuals in front of you, be it your enemy or be it your friend.
So,
So we didn't conclude.
We didn't conclude.
We were not sure, and we kind of were still talking about it, and we said, okay, well, and then the other gentleman also said that, well, only people who are surrendering to Krishna will be called Mahatma. And I think the question was, so what happens if you're a Muslim or a Christian and you do not believe in Krishna? You have your own. So what happens then? Then is a Mahatma only for people who are Hindus? That was just a query, and we ended with that. So that was just kind of where we
Well,
went
I
back.
will answer that because Krishna didn't speak Bhagavad Gita saying that I'm speaking only for Hindus. Krishna spoke for every Atma.
Okay.
Not only for human beings also. He spoke for every Atma. That's the whole point about Bhagavad Gita.
Okay.
You will not see Krishna mentioning Hindus, Christians, Muslims.
Correct.
And our founder carried this all over the world and spoke to Hindus, Christians, Muslims, Zoroastrians, Buddhists, you name it, atheists, everybody. And all of them accepted that what you're saying is the truth. So it's beyond religion, caste, and creed, the absolute truth. That's the answer to that question and that comment. So my reiteration again is, what is the definition that Krishna is giving for a Mahatma, and how is he showing the Lakshana of a Mahatma, what it will be? He's saying that Mahatma Anastumam Partha Daivim Prakritima Shritah Bhajanti Ananya Manaso Nyatva Bhutadim Avyayam. If you look into the word-to-word meaning, Bhajanti Ananya Manaso. He will worship me only and nobody else. Ananya. Ananyas Chintayanto Mam Yejana Paryupasate. In another shloka also Krishna says that. One who doesn't give his faith to anybody else but only to me. In another place he says, Mamcho avyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate. Vyabhichari, unfaithful woman who's not faithful to her husband. He's using that word. He said, avyabhichari bhakti you must do. Mamcho avyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate. So, Krishna is saying pinpointedly that such a person is a Mahatma. Mam ekam sharanam braja. So very clearly Krishna is saying, Mahatmanas tu mam. They will think of me, worship me. Bhajanti ananya manaso. This is the quality of a Mahatma. It's a quality of a Mahatma. So that's the definition we should take. A Mahatma's foundational definition is that he's stuck pinpointedly on the absolute truth. You can call him Krishna, you can call him Allah, you can call him Yahweh, you can call him whatever you want. That doesn't matter. He knows the absolute truth as a personality and he's stuck with him. That is a Mahatma. That's a definition that's given here. Okay? I just wanted you to do a little thinking on that. People use so many terminologies very loosely. People use the word Bhagavan very loosely. God, every Tom, Dick and Harry has become a God now. And everybody sits on a high podium with a great turban and a wonderful countenance and orders people and gets people's belief and faith in his mushti, in his hands. And so many things go on in this world. But who is God really? It's revealed by God here in Bhagavad Gita. So who fits the bill? Who fits the bill as God is what is this whole shloka about. We've been discussing just the 11th shloka, by the way. Okay? And we came up to discussing Mahatmanastamam Partha. So, Krishna is defining who is a Mahatma. We may be using it loosely. But one amazing thing is after using it on Mohandas Karmachand Gandhi, never was it used again on anybody else. Have you seen that? Have you seen that? You can ask yourself why. You can ask yourself why. But these are questions. So you take a definition from the Bhagavad Gita and you use it loosely. If you take a definition of from Bhagavad Gita about who God is, how do you use it so loosely? Because such great detail is given here by the person who is God. And you will see in the 11th chapter, he will show his Vishwarupa also, because Arjuna will say, better show it, and these guys, so many guys will start doing what you did and claim to be God. So he showed his Vishwarupa also. Right? So that person who believes in the statements of Bhagavad Gita fully and accepts Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the only one and no one else, and surrenders to him completely, which is normally very rare. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschit yattati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mam veti tatvatah. We read that shloka. Manushyanam sahasreshu. Sahasra means 1,000. Out of thousands and thousands and thousands of human beings, kaschit yattati siddhaye. Hardly one person will be interested in learning things perfectly and coming to some good understanding of life and the purpose and meaning of life and the absolute truth. Nobody is really interested in the truth. Everybody is swept by the illusion. So hardly one person will be interested. And out of all such persons, who are interested in the absolute truth, thousands and thousands of them, hardly one knows me in truth. Krishna is telling this. Yatatam api siddhanam, out of those who want perfection, kaschin mam veti tatvatah. Veti means to know. Mam means, Krishna is saying, knowing me in truth, tatvatah, is very rare. That rare thing is brought to you on a platter because of Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada is giving you the essence and the real understanding immediately to feed it inside you in a pre-digested form. Easy. Coming to the point. That's why I say read the purports very carefully. If you simply read, today we have done a lot of the 9.11 and 9.13. Just spend time reading this purport. It's about 3-4 pages, 9.11. It will matter a lot. You will see the world is filled with this phenomena. Because Krishna will now speak about foolish guys. Avajananti ma mudha, he said. Then he'll speak about the atheistic people who think that I am just an ordinary human being. Then he'll speak about people who are actually the Mahatmas, who are not bewildered like this, which he's speaking now. Mahatmana sumam partha devim pakadam. And then what do those Mahatmas do in the next shloka 14? Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha dridavratah namashyantascha mam bhaktya nitya yukta upasate. Who is a Mahatma?
It's 9:30.
He's defined first in Mahatmana sumam partha in 13. Then in 14 he says, what will he do? Satatam kirtayanto mam. He will always be chanting my glories and speaking about me because he's in love with me. He's head over heels in love with me. So you keep on speaking about Krishna out of love for him. It's an amazing phenomenon if you become a lover of Krishna. You've seen so many movies of people, lovebirds, clinging to each other and then dying and then talking about each other and and that is so short. Even in the material world, what to speak of if you actually fall in love with the Supreme Lord, who is so attractive. Aishwaryasya, Viryasya, Yashashaha, Shriyaha, Jnana, Vairagayos, he is beauty, knowledge, strength, fame, everything in unlimited quantity. You will definitely fall in love with him if you get to know him. And if you start loving him, this is what you'll be. What you'll be? Satatam kirtayanto mam. Satatam, always, kirti, singing the fame of the Supreme Lord. Yatantascha dridavratah. And he's so determined, nobody can stop him. Even if a tsunami comes, he will keep doing it because he's in love with the Lord. Namashyantascha mam bhaktya, always worshipping me, paying his obeisances to me. They perpetually worship me with devotion. Now, whether Mohandas Karmachand Gandhi fits that bill. See that. So you please read that. Then Prabhupada will explain, the Mahatma cannot be manufactured by rubber stamping an ordinary man. He's starting the purport for this 14 like that. And he was a Gandhian, by the way. Prabhupada in his younger days was wearing that topi, white and white, and wearing only cloths woven by the hand, following Gandhiji. He liked Gandhi very much because he was a principle-oriented man. He had a principle in life. Prabhupada is attracted to Gandhi because of his principles. He said that. He's a principle-oriented man. So I like to be like that in my life. So he liked. But gradually, as he came to know Bhagavad Gita, as he came to know and met his guru, he understood that I am not learning all these things from Mahatma Gandhi. He is teaching freedom for the country and he is bothered about Muslims and Hindus and fighting the British. He is not teaching me who is God, how to escape the greater danger of the material nature holding you. What to speak of Britishers holding you? That is nothing compared to the material nature holding you perpetually for life after life. You are eternally colonized by Maya, by material nature. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, his guru told him, if you can get out of this, automatically the British guys now will fall off. You don't have to worry. This is a foundational catch. The colonization is by Maya, material nature on you. If you can escape that, what to speak about the Britishers, all that will be taken care of by itself. So he became very fascinated when Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, his guru, told him this in his first meeting. Because Prabhupada told in his first meeting with this guru, he was forced to come there by his friend. Because when his friend told, there's a holy man in the town, why don't you come and see him? So I have seen all these holy men. My father used to bring so many of them home. He's a young man, okay, full blood and fighting for the country and, Bharat Mata Ki Jai. So he told his friend, I had enough of seeing all these holy men. Throughout my life, I've seen them. Then he told him, no, this man is different. He's very different. Then he said, no, let's not waste time. He said, no, you must come. And somehow brought him. So Prabhupada asked Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, what is the use? Who's going to hear you? The whole country is fighting for freedom from the British. Who's going to hear you? He went and told this to this Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, the holy man. So the holy man said, "You are a young man, you are educated. Listen to me carefully." And he explained to him that liberating people from Maya and material nature cannot wait for the Britishers to go away. It is the most important thing to do right now. It's more urgent than fighting for the independence of the country. And he proved it to him by telling him 1, 2, 3, 4 reasons. And then Prabhupada was aghast. He opened his mouth and said, "Powerful argument." Because he is educated in his younger days about all these things. But nobody spoke to him in a manner that ties up his present situation with that philosophy. So when he said that, it's mentioned that, wow, this is good. He gave a correct answer. And then when he went back, this friend asked him, "So what do you think?" He said, "God's mission is in the right person's hands." God's mission is in the right person's hands. And Prabhupada recollected later, he said, "At that moment, I accepted him as my guru in my heart of hearts." It is just time that 10 years later, he got initiated by him, accepted him as formally as a guru. So that was the conversation that changed Prabhupada from a Gandhian to a more deeper person. The culture of the land, the Bhagavad Gita culture of the land. So what really a Mahatma is. And Prabhupada really became that Mahatma. Even without a title, Prabhupada became really a great soul by taking Bhagavad Gita all over the world to everybody, telling everybody to chant Hare Krishna, and publishing the Bhagavad Gita in 87 languages. And making Bhagavad Gita available to everybody, whether you're Indian, whether you're Pakistani, whether you're Muslim, that does not matter. And he got Bhagavad Gita to everybody. Obviously, he's a Mahatma. Right? So I'm not here to just blow the trumpet about Prabhupada alone, but I'm saying use your own understanding of what Krishna is saying here in the Bhagavad Gita. Analyze it. Popular phrases and popular comments of people should not be something that we understand from Bhagavad Gita. We should understand the truth as it is mentioned by Krishna. Okay, give it a good thought. I have been able to do just 2 shlokas with you today. But nevertheless, I strongly recommend that you read the rest of the thing and also read these 2 purports. Tomorrow is Ratha Yatra here, and it's a lot of work tomorrow. If some of you are in Coimbatore, you can come and take part in it. There'll be a lot of dancing, chanting, and kirtan, and good food, and you can see the Lord on the chariot. Welcome. Good night. Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.